What's up, Pirates? Wraith and Jim here with AwakenedTCG, and today we have another video for you guys. It is going to be a market overview. We'll be looking at some cards that we think are going to be more widely used and are going to be a good addition to keep in your arsenal for OP04, because some of these decks are going to be running some of these cards, and we believe their prices are going to continue to rise.
Yeah, so a lot of these cards, I think, are undervalued. They've actually already started going up, and I believe they're going to go up more. So if you're planning on playing into these decks in the future that are going to utilize these cards, I would say now is probably the best time to buy them. And if we're wrong, come back here and say we were wrong in the comments, please. But first of all, here we have from the film starter deck, ST05, we have Uta. She is a 4 cost, 5000 blocker with 1000 power, and when she blocks, you can Dom -1 and rest one of your opponent's characters with the cost of 5 or less. Now, a lot of you guys may have hardly seen this card because purple is completely non-existent, but that effect sounds really good, right? Well, yeah. And
Yeah.
obviously the Doflamingo deck that's coming up is going to be finally a deck that's going to be able to utilize this card.
Yes, you know, you can play it off the 7-drop Luffy, the film Luffy, that allows you to play a 4 or less from hand.
Searchable.
Probably the primary target for that. Yeah, you can, you know, play a Nami or a Brook, but this is the primary target for that hyper defensive deck. And you know, it's sitting at $9 right now, going up to 10.
Yeah, it's already started going up a bit all the way since June. It's been on an upwards curve, and when the deck actually comes out, mark my words, this card's going to go up even more. Next up, we have one of the lower rarity cards in the starter deck. It's going to be Guild Tesoro. He's a 5 cost, 6000 power. When he attacks, you can Dom -2, and he's just going to draw 2 cards. Really strong effect that is kind of held back right now with all the removal in the game currently. This card is usually never getting to attack before it goes, but next set, I think red is going to be a lot less popular, and Doflamingo is going to really be able to utilize this card to its fullest extent.
Yeah, very powerful card, sitting at $4.66 for the cheapest one, and then market price has it valued at $5.66. And so there's a couple only for this cheap price here, and then you see more cards starting to be over $7.
Yes.
And so if you really need this card here, this is, you know, your best option. Otherwise, you can buy the whole starter deck if you do need more than just these cards. If you need the Utas and the Tesoros, the starter deck is $20 currently, but we believe that will rise as well. So I think this is a good card to keep your eye on.
Yeah, so if you're looking to play Doflamingo, you can already see it's trending up. I would buy this card now before it gets even worse. Next up, we've got Nami from OP02. She's going to be an SR, and she's just a 3/5 stat line. On play and when attacking, you can tap 1 Dawn and search your top 3 cards for a film type card. So this Doflamingo deck is going to be all film type cards, so this card is an absolute staple 4 of that you're going to 100% need. And it obviously started very low. Not a lot of decks ran this card, as you can see. It was going for less than $1. But obviously going up lately as people are preparing for this. It's kind of settled out around 7. However, when the actual deck comes out, I figure this card will go up by at least a couple more dollars.
Yeah, it'll probably hover around $9, $10.
Yeah.
But staple in the Doflamingo deck. So if you plan to buy that, here's another card for you to purchase ASAP.
100%. Next up, we have one of the very, very common event cards that's going to be utilized in the Doflamingo deck. Thunderbagua. Purple is really bad right now. And this is a decent card in purple, but nobody plays it. So this card has been very low recently. You can see it's slightly trending up at the moment. And I think it's going to go up a bit more. I have Punk Gibson here for reference. So decks actually kind of run this at the moment. This is one of the most expensive rare cards in the entire game at $3. I don't think Thunderbagua is going to get all the way up to 3. I could see it getting around 2 if Doflamingo is popular enough. But you can see what happens to these rarity cards that are utilized in decks. So this one's only at 95 for the lowest one right now, about $1. So I think now's the perfect time to pick it up for sure.
Yeah, I mean, all it takes is one deck to start doing good and for it to gain a lot of popularity, and these cards will just shoot up in price.
100%. Next up, we have Charlotte Katakuri. Is already a staple in a lot of yellow decks. Yellow, a pretty decently common color, But we here at AwakenedTCG are firm believers that if the red restrictions stay in place, yellow is actually going to be a strong, maybe even the best deck in the next meta, making this card as a secret rare and staple 3 to 4 of. This card is going to shoot to the moon. Recently, it's already been going up like crazy. It was the lowest at 28-ish, and now it's already going up to 38. Went up by $10. And I could see this going up by $5-10 more when Queen and Katakuri start showing up, and these really good decks are showing that you want to play them. This card is going to go up by even more.
Yeah, easily. It's it's a staple in most yellow decks. No, probably all yellow decks, and it's a secret rarity. And so just that fact alone means that this card has a lot more room for it to go up in price. But as yellow gets more popular and becomes a top 3 deck, entering that top 3 bracket, because before in OP03, it was top 4, top 5. Now it's going into territory where this might be the best deck. And so some of these cards you're going to have to get right now, or they will shoot back up to, $40-50.
I wish we had a red staple secret rare to go off of, but unfortunately they don't run any secret rares in those decks. But
Yeah.
this one is definitely going to go up by a lot. Next up, we just have one of the staple SRs in these yellow decks. You can interchange this with the 10 cost Big Mom, or maybe not the Cracker as much because it's not as much as a staple, but this one or the 10 cost Big Mom are probably going to be very similar in price. It's going to be at $12 right now, only going up from there. As you can see, it's been trending up lately. It's already a staple card in yellow. But as we said, if yellow does become the number 1, number 2 staple soon, I think this card's going to go up even more.
Yeah, 100%. 100%.
These are the type of cards you really need to be picking up right now if you are planning to play yellow next set. Next up, we have 3000 Worlds. So this is for the Rebecca deck. The Rebecca deck is kind of a weird case where you're kind of forced to run all new cards, so we can't actually look at any of those cards right now since they're not out yet. This is one of the only cards that basically every Rebecca deck is running. But it's already a staple in basically every blue deck. This card is, in my opinion, basically broken. Bottom deck is the best removal in the entire game. But you can see we only have one at 59 cents, but mostly $1-ish range, only going up from there.
Yeah, I mean, this card is probably the most used event in all blue decks. Besides maybe Nami, I know some run it, some don't, but Dofi, Croc, any blue deck is gonna run this event here, and then some Rebeccas definitely have this in their list. I know Red Rock is coming out, the 6-drop, bottom deck any cost character, but this is a card that you're still going to see very much of. And so pick this up right now before the prices shoot up any further.
If you're planning to play Rebecca, yeah, you should grab it right now. If I wanted to play Rebecca, I'm 100% picking this up at this lowest price right now. Great card. Next up and last up, we have Zephyr. So this is going to be for the Nami archetype. I have a weird sticking suspicion. I don't know if Raythea really agrees with me, but if decks like Yellow and Rebecca and stuff are kind of taking red out of the meta, and these slower decks are going to be your more common occurrence, I think Nami is kind of going to eat off of that meta and show up pretty decently. And all these Nami cards right now are very, very low, as not many people play the deck. Like, this is an alt art, right? This can be like alt art Marco or something, which is at $40, right? It's an alt art rare, but this one's at $15. So if you believe in the Nami agenda, boom, this is an instant pickup for $60. 4 of.
Yeah. We'll see. I obviously the meta for OP04 is looking a lot slower paced. So more control decks, more mid-range decks, less aggro decks, but we will see how it pans out. But yeah, if Nami does, like you say, start gaining more popularity and becoming more of a staple in the meta, cards like this are definitely going to be ones that people are going to start picking up to drip out their deck.
Yeah, it topped in one of the flagships in Japan recently, which is basically their like Treasure Cup regional. It's their big tournament. So if Nami can top a tournament in that meta, I think it's gonna actually. It's never gonna be top one, but I think it's gonna be definitely a meta contender that can beat mostly any deck that's in the top three.
All right, Pirates, but that is going to be the end of this video here. Thank you guys so much for watching this market overview. You know, we kind of went through some blue cards, some purple cards, some green cards, gave you guys a good variety of things to look forward to in OP04. But this is going to be the end of this video. Like this video, comment down below if you're going to pick up any of these cards, subscribe to our channel, and we'll see you guys on the next video. Peace.